Hi guys, Exeter Rider, hope you're doing well. Now this week is all about the Silence S01 electric scooter. Okay. So this is a scooter from Silence UK. They are scooters which are made out of Barcelona. So a nice European brand for a change, which I think can only be a good thing. I'm all for supporting European brands. To look at the bike, it's actually quite nice. I think it's, you know, for a scooter, it does look quite stylish. One prominent thing is obviously that battery there, which I'm going to show you. It's got a magic trick, which I'll show you in a minute. They say that gives you 80-mile range, which is right, you know, which is fair enough. But that's on eco. You won't want to ride it in eco. It's a little bit boring. So there's 3 modes: eco, city and sport. City is the one which I find the most useful, most realistic, and on that you'll get about 65 to 68 miles range. It is a scooter which does 68 miles an hour as well, so you're not like previous scooters that I've ridden. You've only been restricted to 45 miles an hour, which is near on useless really. So we've always been asking for that scooter, and I think I did mention it in my NIU or new scooter GTS Pro review that it's a good, you know, it's all right scoot, but if only they could make one which does 60 miles an hour, and this one does 68, so max speed. So that's good going, isn't it? So it comes with upgraded brakes and also a piggyback shock here as well, which is because it's a mono shock, whether you're solo or 2-up riding, it's actually really quite nice suspension there. Comes standard with a center stand there and also a side stand as well. It's a hub motor. With hub motors in the past, they have been a bit boring. This is a really exciting bike to ride. It's a fun bike to ride. You never feel like you need any more power. We come with this standard clip here as well. And apparently for 100 miles, it only costs £1 in electricity to charge. Sport mode, going uphill as well. 23, 30, 32, 40, 50, 60. There you go. 62. Restricted at 62, unless I want to give it a bit more beams. I can push the pass button, and it would take me up to 68, which is, well, why would I need to in this case? For this being a learner rider scooter, it's oh, I'll tell you what, I can't think of anything better for a learner rider on this scooter. They'll be made up with this sort of power. I am, and I got a full license. Yeah, it really does go very well indeed. So naturally, as with most electric scooters, or even motorbikes to an extent, they do tend to live in the city. They're designed around city use as well, everyday commuting. And how does it respond there? Well, it responds really well. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's very smooth. If the power is there, you'll take off any. If you want to take off at the lights, you'll have no issue there. It's very, very quick, quicker than most cars, I would say, easily. And if you put it in sport mode, then it gives you that extra bit more as well. So it's very good. Now the common thing that people say is that other cars can't hear you. Well, they wouldn't be able to hear me if I was on the bike anyway, not with their windows up, air conditioning on, and the music playing. So, you know, no biggie there. I have no issue with that at all. So what we'll do in a minute, we'll run a quick test in sport mode, coming off the lights. So I'll just click the mode down here onto sport, and we'll do a 0 to 30 test and see how we get on there. But as I say, this is mainly a city bike anyway. However, I've been very surprised, very, very surprised how useful this is just going out for an afternoon with 2-up as well. Went out to Bickley, which is probably about 12 miles from my house, with my son, and riding this bike 2-up was absolutely fantastic. It was a better experience than what it would be on a petrol driven bike. Certainly a petrol driven bike, it's a 125 learner legal one, because it's got so much torque. You know, there's no power drop. The power is just there all the time, riding 2 up. Power on, 14, 18, 26, 30, there you go. Instant. It's very, very quick. Well and truly left the car behind me. Right back there, he's still just crossing over the crossroads there. So, in riding around in sport, it's still really fast. You feel a constant pull every time you open up the throttle. It's a little bit, I prefer it in city mode actually, because then it's a bit softer and it just takes off nicely, and it glides as well. It's really nice to ride around this bike. Oh, serious guys, are they going to get a nod? Nod. No chance. Oh dear, didn't look too happy about that. But yeah, it just glides along. It's a really nice way of getting around the city on an electric scooter. Even national speed limit, it will do really nicely. Got the 15-inch wheels as well, which tackle most potholes quite well. Not too bad. Obviously it's still 15-inch, but it's better than the little dinky 13 inches, isn't it? This bike really is and has been designed to glide, and that's exactly what you do. You come off the throttle in city mode, it's just glide into the lights now. Look, no input here, and I'm just rolling beautifully. So I'm going to overtake now and go down to the front of the lights. And yeah, it just glides effortlessly. So seat comfort is fantastic. It's got a suede seat, nicely made, and you don't slide around on it because of that, you know, the suede finish that it has, the material that they've used. It really holds you in and steady on the scooter, whereas most scooters you're sort of sliding around a bit, aren't you, under heavy braking. You subconsciously have to sort of brace yourself with your legs, whereas this again is very relaxing on that side of things. Mirrors are very good as well, surprisingly good. And yeah, I can see, you know, right over my elbows there, so that's quite nice. Okay, so first of all is the capacity to hold 2 helmets under the seat. So to operate the seat, I'll just hold both brake levers together like so, and I can hear the seat pop up there. Let's take a walk over. Underneath the seat, we have a huge amount of space for 2 full face helmets, which is really handy if you're going on a day out somewhere. This is the charging lead. That's all it is. It's literally just a kettle lead. There's no transformer or inverter to plug in. You just literally plug it into there like so, and it's on a 13 amp fuse plug there, so you just plug it into the wall. It's about a 7-8 hour charge, and you can literally just use it all day, do a 65 miles in a day generally speaking. Under the seat there's a little lever which I pull up on the centre stand, lift the little lever under the seat, and it actually comes out on a trolley. So that's going to solve a lot of problems for people who live in flats. Very easy to push around though. So you can take it indoors, and you've got a plug on the back here where you can plug the charger in. So a lot of people always say about electric and range. You're absolutely right. There's only so much you can do on electric, but for me, most of the commuting that I do every day, I can do on this scooter. One of the questions you might have is what happens when it does go down to 0%? Does it just cut out? This has got a true 100% range, so it'll give you all the power that you need all the way through without cutting out. Even when it goes down to 0%, which I have done, I've run a test on that, and it still tends to keep going beyond the 0%. How far, I don't know. I didn't want to test that and take the risk. Comfort-wise for the Pillion is really, really good. It's a lovely wide seat. Again, it's kind of anti-slip as well. Got the grab handles on the back here for moving the scooter around. It's light enough anyway, but it's, yeah, you got that extra bit of grip there to hold on to the scooter. Toby, talk to me about seat comfort, please.
Seat comfort's really nice, you know, very comfy, little to no vibrations. Even on, like, you know, massive bumps, there's hardly any, you know, hardly
Yeah.
any discomfort.
It's got a nice sized wheel. That's probably why the bumps are not too bad, because they're gliding over them a bit more.
Right, okay.
Nice and wide the seat as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's massive. Well, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest seat I've ever sat on, to be honest.
So you prefer this much better than the other bikes which I had got you on a little while ago, do you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely a lot nicer, to be honest.
And this is the first electric bike which you've been on, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the power? Did it surprise you about the power?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, CBT legal learner, I don't know about that. It's very strong indeed.
Yeah, it is a lot of power, isn't it, for a learner legal machine? I'm not sure if it's any more powerful than any other 125, but it feels quicker, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Shall we open it up now with two people on a minute?
Go on then.
You comfortable?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong thing. Let's put it in sport. There you go. Ready?
Yep.
There you go.
Cool.
See, that to me doesn't feel like it's any different now to what it is when it's just me on it. It still feels the same amount of power even with you on it. There's no power loss there at all. So do you reckon you could sit on that seat for quite a while then?
Oh, definitely. The only thing I'd say which is a bit annoying is that the left side of my foot, the battery's kind of sticking out.
Oh, is it, yeah?
There's a little bit less sort of room for my foot.
Oh, okay. And you were saying that the pegs were quite hard to put your feet on just now, is that right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so what happens here, like, so you're putting your foot on the peg, but it keeps, you have to kind of lean them out a little bit because they keep on kicking into the side, and you just can't quite get comfortable there.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. They're quite slippy, to be honest.
Yeah, it might be because it's a knee bike maybe, and you've got polished shoes maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, I'm not sure, but...
Okay. Anyway, thanks for your thoughts on that, Toby.
Yeah, no problem.
Upgraded disc brakes, wavy discs front and back. The brakes are amazing, they're really, really good. And also we got this piggyback shock adjuster here as well. Common thing that people say, well, you know, it's not eco-friendly and blah, blah, blah. Fine, yeah, I agree with you, you know. I 100% agree with you. They're not, in my eyes, they're not eco-friendly to make, but once they're made and they're out on the road, there's zero emissions, all right? Yes, you've got to charge it as well, and that's coming from a power station, which is normally nuclear powered. Kind of could say this is nuclear powered if you go right back down the line, but yeah, so yeah, it's not super eco-friendly, but it's not about that. You're just missing the point if you're thinking like that. You have to, again, try one of these to understand how practical and useful they are. For me, if I own a scooter, I would use this more than any other bike. That being said, I would always need to have my NC750, for example, for longer trips. So it's horses for courses. If you're somebody that doesn't do big mileage, then this will be fine, of course. For the switchgear, I would like that to be a little bit better. I think it looks a little bit cheap and it feels a little bit cheap to operate. So I think that's an area which they could improve on. LED lights all round. I think the plastics are really solid on this. You're doing light turns, really, really easy, very, very light. And also, if you get stuck in a ditch like I am now, you have got a reverse gear as well. How cool is that? Now, the only issue with that, it does seem to, I don't know why they needed to make it go beep beep as you're going back, but. So the battery has 1,000 cycle charge time, which you may think is not very long, but if you're only charging a couple times a week, then that's, you know, 6 years or so, something like that. In fact, it's probably longer than that, actually. What I've learnt through riding the BMW electrics, including the C01, which I rode last year, and also the C Evolution, which I thought was a fantastic bike, or scooter. One thing I've learnt there is that actually that 1,000 cycles, the battery only goes down to 80% of its capacity. So, you know, in theory, it could go on for a lot longer, and it probably will. Silence can nail down the reliability. There's no reason for me to think that this isn't a reliable bike, but other brands like Super Socko, I know they've had a lot of problems with them. Sadly, they have had a lot of problems with them. But in all honesty, this is nothing like a Super Socko. Super Socko, to me, I've tried all the Super Sockos, and I found them a bit, to be frank, I found them really boring to get around on. The hub motor was quite weak compared to the Silence. Let's talk about the dashboard for a second. So up the top here, you see this little line that goes around to the right here. when you're riding along, that is the power bar, so it will show how much power you're using on the battery. So obviously if you give it the beans, then it will go all the way up, and if you're not using much or nothing at all, then it will literally stay at that datum line there. Also on sport mode, it will actually regen and put a trickle charge back into the battery. When that happens, like on most electric bikes, you'll see a bar go in this direction. Alright, so which also gives you a bit of what we know as engine braking. Also on the screen, we have the battery percentage here, which is 29%. We have the outside temperature and also a clock, the speedo here, the trip meter down here, this is on trip 1 at the moment, and range till empty down here, which again is very, very handy. And again, I'm finding that quite accurate. If I flick through the menu, trip 2 as well, which is the same mileage at the moment, and then overall the mileage, which is 169 miles this bike has done. So switchgear in the right hand bar, we have the hazards, like so, then the high beam, low beam, the info button, and also a mode button as well to switch between the 4 modes. Then on the left hand bar, we have the lights on, off and passing, the indicators like so, and the horn down. The switchgear does seem a bit budget, it feels a bit budget as well. I wish that was a bit better than what it is. For me to sit on the scooter, it's a relatively narrow seat compared to most scooters that I've recently tried. I'm flat footing it, no problem at all. Lift your legs up here, you've got the weather protection. If you're taller, then you're going to be fine as well. You can move right back on the seat here. So I'd even say that if you're 6 foot and over, you'll probably be all right on this scooter actually, and you wouldn't look silly either, because it's not a small scooter, it's still quite big. Right, I'm going to go into the app now and show you how that works. So basically this is free with the bike, you don't have to pay any recurring costs. When I click on the home screen, it goes straight to the battery percentage that I'm on at the moment, which is 25%. And then down the bottom we got the standby button there, so I can turn the bike on and off, all right, from anywhere basically. Also I can turn the alarm on and off as well with this app. So I can go into trip history, I can schedule a trip, which let's do that now actually. Let's say to 9NQ, Cowick Hill in Exeter. Then it will work out how far it is. It will link directly to my sat nav. It will tell me the total distance of the route, which is 5.67 kilometers. Hopefully I can change that into miles, that would be more handy. And it will tell me that I need 7% of the battery. I'm on 25% at the moment, so I could go there and get back here where I am now. With that 7% of battery, I've got 25% in the can at the moment, so I'm all good there. Technical sheet, it will run through battery temperatures and motor temperature, inverter temperature, which can be handy as well. And then I can go into the options, which is enable Bluetooth, enable trunk, I'm not quite sure what that means, and the alarm is really handy, because not only does the alarm go off on the scooter, but it also locks the rear wheel as well. But it's really good. And then obviously I've got the trip history as well. There you go, that's pretty much all I've done there at the moment. So the Silence SO1 Plus comes in at £7,475, which, as we all know, that is quite a bit of money. And when you think of what else you could buy with that money, it kind of niches itself quite a lot. So you've got to be somebody who's slightly left field, and somebody who really wants to ride electric and get all the benefits from it to pay that sort of money. Or you have another option where you could buy a scooter without the upgraded suspension and brakes and a few other bits and bobs, and go for the Silence S01 Connected, which comes in at £6,265 plus on the road. And basically, yeah, it's a lot of money saved, and yeah, it still has the same range pretty much. And also get the dealer network rolled out as well. They're doing pretty well, to be fair. With that does seem to be rolling out quite well, but still much work to do on that. If they go out for the dealer network like BSA have, for example, with their aggression at rolling out new dealers, then they're going to be you know, on a winner with this one. Reliability is really hard to tell, obviously, because it's electric. Most combustion engines, you can hear things moving, you can feel the bike a lot more. With electric, it is a bit more mundane, and it's hard to tell. One thing I do know is that Silence UK are really pushing these bikes. They will bend over backwards to get a good customer experience. I can tell that straight away. So thanks to Silence UK for the loan of the scooter. It's been really quite a joy to ride this, actually, and my boys have enjoyed it as well. We've been out together, so yeah, really good fun. Thanks to you for watching, much appreciated if you give it a like, and thanks for sticking with the video this far. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next week, same time, Sunday at 4 p.m.